They said her success was a fluke, that she only got the job to fill a quota. But when a single cutting remark in front of everyone shattered her composure, it set off a chain reaction no one saw coming. What happens when dignity is stripped? Way in the name of prejudice. And how far will she go to reclaim not just her voice, but her truth? If this story resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe for more powerful narratives about resilience and justice. Let's start. Zara stepped into the luxury hotel lobby, her heels clicking against the polished marble floor. She carried herself with confidence, her head held high as she prepared to present her groundbreaking proposal. The room buzzed with anticipation, and Zara felt a surge of pride. This was her moment to shine. Mid-presentation, Victor interrupted her flow. "Zara," he said, his tone dripping with condescension, "you're doing great, but let's not distract. Mr. Cross too much with your charm." His words hung in the air, planting seeds of doubt in front of the client. Zara paused, her smile faltering for just a second before she regained her composure. Then Victor escalated his remarks publicly. "You're too pretty to be taken seriously," he declared loudly enough for everyone to hear. Gasps rippled through the audience. Zara froze, her heart pounding as the weight of his words sank in. It wasn't just an insult. It was a racially coded jab meant to undermine her professionalism. Eli Cross shifted uncomfortably in his seat, but remained silent, leaving Zara isolated in her humiliation. She glanced at him, searching for any sign of support, but found none. Subtle tension built around his role, making her question whether this meeting had been set up to fail her from the start. After the presentation ended, a co-worker approached. Zara cautiously. "I'm sorry you had to go through that," they whispered, glancing over their shoulder to ensure no one was listening. "Victor's been bad-mouthing you behind closed doors for weeks. He says you only got hired because of diversity, quotas." The word stung, but Zara nodded, absorbing the information without letting it break her completely. Fighting back tears, Zara exited the meeting humiliated, but determination flickered beneath her pain. She straightened her posture, refusing to let Victor's cruelty define her worth. As she walked out, someone in the room quietly recorded the entire exchange on their phone. By the time Zara got home, the video had gone viral, sparking outrage across social media platforms. Her phone buzzed incessantly with notifications. Messages of support, anger, and solidarity flooded in from strangers who saw themselves in her story. For the first time since the incident, Zara felt a spark of hope. Justice had found its voice online, amplifying her struggle far beyond the walls of that luxury hotel. The next day at work, Victor tried to smooth things over by offering Zara a half-hearted apology in private. "Look, Zara, I didn't mean anything by what I said yesterday," he began, leaning against the doorframe of her office. "It was constructive criticism, really, just trying to help you succeed." Zara looked up from her desk, her eyes sharp and unyielding. "Constructive criticism? Calling me too pretty to be taken seriously in front of everyone wasn't feedback. It was an attack. And now my reputation is on the line because of you." Victor's expression hardened. "Be careful how you handle this, Zara. You don't want to burn bridges here." His thinly veiled threat lingered in the air, but Zara refused to back down. She knew she couldn't trust him, and she also knew she couldn't face this battle alone. Later, that afternoon, Maya Patel slipped into Zara's office, closing the door behind her. "I know we haven't always seen eye to eye," Maya began hesitantly, "but I wanted to give you this." She handed Zara a USB drive. "These are emails from Victor. They show a pattern of discriminatory behavior against employees of color. Maybe they can help you." Zara stared at the USB drive in her hand, gratitude and suspicion warring within her. "Why are you giving this to me?" she asked, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside her. Maya avoided her gaze. "Because I've seen how he operates and it's not right. But be careful. If he finds out I gave this to you, I could lose everything." That night, Zara confided in Liam Torres, her best friend and a journalist, sitting across from him at their favorite diner. She recounted the events of the past 2 days. "I don't know if I should file a formal complaint or let this blow over," she admitted, stirring her coffee absently. "What if I fight back and it makes things worse?" Liam leaned forward, his expression serious. "Corporate systems protect people, like Victor Zara, but staying silent won't change anything either. You have evidence now, use it. Tell your story. People need to hear it." His words stayed with her long after they parted ways. For the first time, Zara allowed herself to imagine a different outcome, one where she didn't just survive, but thrived. One where justice wasn't perfect, but it was hers to claim. Victor cornered Zara in the hallway the next morning, his tone deceptively calm. "Zara, I need to talk to you about yesterday," he said, leaning against the wall as if he owned the space. She crossed her arms, her posture defensive. "What about it?" "I may have come off a little strong during your presentation," Victor admitted, though his words lacked sincerity. "But it was meant as constructive feedback. You're talented, don't get me wrong, but perception matters. People might not take you seriously if they think you're just relying on charm." Zara clenched her jaw, anger simmering beneath her. Controlled exterior. "You called me too pretty to be taken seriously in front of everyone. That wasn't feedback, it was an insult. And now my credibility is at stake because of you." Victor's smile faltered for a moment before returning, colder this time. "Be careful how you handle this, Zara. The company values loyalty. If you go around stirring up trouble, it could affect your future here." The veiled threat hung heavy in the air, and Zara felt her stomach tighten. She nodded curtly, refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing her fear. As she walked away, she noticed the subtle shifts around her. Colleagues who once greeted her warmly now avoided eye contact. Even those who had praised her work before seemed distant, afraid of being associated with controversy. Later that day, Maya Patel approached Zara cautiously. "Can we talk?" she asked, glancing over her shoulder to ensure no one was listening. They stepped into an empty conference room, and Maya handed Zara a small USB drive. "These are emails from Victor. They show a pattern of discriminatory behavior against employees of color. Maybe they can help you." Zara stared at the USB drive, her mind racing. "Why are you giving this to me?" she asked, suspicion creeping into her voice. Maya hesitated, her gaze dropping to the floor. "Because I've seen what he does to people, like us. But be careful. If he finds out I gave this to you, I could lose everything." That evening, Zara met Liam at their usual spot, a quiet cafe tucked away from the chaos of the city. She slid the USB drive across the table toward him. "This is from Maya. It's evidence of Victor's misconduct." Liam raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "And you trust her?" "I don't know," Zara admitted, frustration lacing her words. "She says she wants to help, but something feels off. Still, I can't ignore this. What if it's real?" Liam leaned back, considering her words. "Corporate systems protect people like Victor, Zara. But staying silent won't change anything either. Use this evidence. Tell your story. People need to hear it." At a networking event later that week, Zara found herself face-to-face with Sophia Bellamy, a charismatic influencer known for exposing workplace injustices. Sophia recognized her immediately. "Zara Lyons, right? I saw your video online. Your story resonated with so many people." Zara blinked, caught off guard. "Thank you for saying that, but I didn't ask for any of this attention," Sophia smiled knowingly. "Sometimes the spotlight finds us when we least expect it. Look, I'd like to amplify your voice if you're willing to go public. Together we could make real change." Before Zara could respond, Jamal Carter approached. Then he introduced himself quietly, explaining that he'd been fired months earlier under similar circumstances. "Victor forced me out after I refused to falsify reports favoring his personal interests," Jamal revealed, his voice tinged with bitterness. I thought I was alone in this fight until I saw your story. Hearing Jamal's account reignited Zara's determination. She realized she wasn't fighting just for herself anymore. She was fighting for everyone Victor had wronged. But just as hope began to bloom, betrayal struck. Maya confronted Zara in the parking lot after work. "You need to stop pushing this issue," Maya snapped, her tone sharp and accusatory. "I leaked the viral video to draw attention to myself, not to start some crusade. Now everyone thinks you're reckless and ungrateful." Zara stared at her, stunned. "You betrayed me?" Maya's expression hardened. "I've been feeding information to Victor, too. He promised me protection if I kept him informed about your moves. I'm sorry, Zara, but I can't afford to lose my job over this." Feeling cornered and defeated, Zara considered giving up. But then Liam called with news that changed everything. "Eli Cross owns the hotel chain," he told her urgently. His presence at the meeting wasn't coincidental. It was part of a surprise audit of management practices. Armed with this revelation, Zara requested a private meeting with Eli. Sitting across from him in his sleek office, she laid out her case. "Mr. Cross, I believe Victor Kane has been engaging in discriminatory practices that undermine both employees and the company's reputation. I have evidence to support these claims." Eli listened intently, his expression unreadable. When she finished, he leaned forward. "I'm aware of Victor's toxic leadership style, Ms. Lyons. However, perception matters. Can you prove your competence beyond the drama surrounding your appearance?" Determined to rise above his skepticism, Zara presented a flawless alternative. Plan for the upcoming gala event. Her proposal was innovative, detailed, and undeniably professional. For the first time, Eli's guarded demeanor cracked, replaced by genuine admiration. "You've made quite an impression," he said finally, his tone softer. "Let's see where this goes." As Zara left the office, she allowed herself a small smile. The power dynamics were shifting, and for the first time she felt like she might actually stand a chance. Zara's world seemed to crumble around her as the retaliation escalated. Her hours were slashed without explanation, leaving her scrambling to justify her presence at work. Projects she had poured her heart into were reassigned to others, their names now attached to her hard work. False rumors spread like wildfire, whispers that she was suing the company, that she was difficult to work with, that she only cared about attention. Each lie cut deeper than the last, isolating her further within the very place she once hoped to thrive. Even Sophia, who had initially offered unwavering support, began to waver. "Zara, I don't know if this is worth it anymore," Sophia admitted over coffee one afternoon, her voice tinged with unease. "The backlash is getting worse, and I can't afford to lose my platform over this." Zara felt a pang of betrayal, but swallowed it down. "I understand," she said quietly, though inside she felt more alone than ever. The people she trusted most were pulling away, leaving her to face the storm on her own. Just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, an anonymous letter arrived in the mail. It was terse and threatening. "Stop pursuing this matter or face legal consequences." Zara's hands trembled as she read the words, fear coiling in her chest. For the first time, doubt crept in. Maybe she should back down. Maybe fighting this battle wasn't worth the cost. But then Liam called, his voice steady and firm. "Zara, listen to me," he said, cutting through her spiraling thoughts. "Silence won't protect you, it never does. If you give up now, Victor wins, and so does every other person like him. You've come too far to let them silence you." His words struck a chord deep within her. He was right. Giving up wouldn't just mean losing this fight, it would mean letting the system win. And Zara wasn't ready to surrender. Not yet. Determined to take control, Zara organized a press conference outside the hotel headquarters. She stood behind a podium, flanked by Sophia and Jamal, their presence a testament to solidarity. Cameras flashed as reporters jostled for position, eager to capture the moment. "Thank you all for being here today," Zara began, her voice strong despite the nerves bubbling beneath the surface. "What happened to me isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a pattern of discriminatory behavior perpetuated by Victor Kane and enabled by those in power. With Sophia's support, Zara unveiled damning evidence. Emails from Jamal detailing Victor's manipulative tactics, testimonials from former employees who had suffered under his leadership, and audit reports highlighting systemic corruption. The crowd murmured in shock as the truth unfolded before them. Just as Zara began to feel a glimmer of hope, Victor appeared, shoving his way through the crowd. His face was red with fury as he grabbed a microphone. "This is ridiculous," he shouted, his voice dripping with indignation. "Zara is using her appearance and race to play the victim. She's reckless, unprofessional, and a liability to this company." For a moment, it seemed like Victor might sway the narrative. Reporters scribbled furiously, some nodding along to his accusations. Zara clenched the podium, her knuckles white, as doubt threatened to creep back in. Then Eli stepped forward, his tall frame commanding attention. "Enough," he said firmly, silencing the room. Holding up a folder, he continued, "I've conducted an internal audit of Victor's practices. These documents reveal a pattern of misconduct, including falsified reports, discriminatory hiring practices, and misuse of company resources. There's no denying the depth of his corruption." Victor sputtered, trying to defend himself, but Eli's revelations left him exposed. The reporters turned their cameras on him, capturing his humiliation in real time. Eli addressed the crowd. Next, effective immediately, Victor Kane is terminated from his position. Furthermore, Ms. Zara Lyons will oversee the investigation into his misconduct. The announcement drew cheers from the audience, but Eli wasn't finished. "In light of these findings, I must also take responsibility for my role in allowing such behavior to persist unchecked," he continued, his tone somber. "As CEO, I failed to address these issues sooner. Therefore, I am stepping down and handing leadership over to a diverse board committed to reform." The room fell silent, the weight of Eli's words sinking in. Zara stared at him, stunned. She hadn't expected this twist. His resignation felt both shocking and necessary. Though disappointed by his self-serving motives revealed later, she realized that true change didn't rest on one person. It depended on collective effort. As the press conference ended, Zara took a moment to breathe. The victory was bittersweet, tempered by the knowledge that justice wasn't perfect. But as she looked out at the crowd, diverse faces cheering her on, she felt a spark of hope reignite within her. This was more than a personal triumph. It was a step toward lasting transformation. Though shaken by the cost of justice, Zara resolved to use this opportunity to reshape the organization from within. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but she knew she wasn't alone. Together, they could build something better. With Victor gone, Zara stepped into a leadership role, her determination unwavering. She knew this was her chance to create meaningful change within the company, to rebuild from the ashes of injustice, and ensure no one else would face what she had endured. Her first order of business was implementing mandatory bias training for all employees. "This isn't about punishment," she explained during an introductory session. "It's about understanding how systemic racism affects us all, whether we're aware of it or not." The room was silent as participants absorbed her words, some nodding in agreement, while others shifted uncomfortably. Zara pressed on, introducing transparency initiatives that would hold leadership accountable and foster inclusivity at every level. Next, she launched mentorship programs specifically designed to uplift underrepresented employees. These programs paired junior staff with senior leaders committed to equity, ensuring opportunities for growth without the barriers Zara herself had faced. When Jamal returned as a senior consultant, the impact was immediate. Together, they worked tirelessly to rebuild trust within the organization, championing policies that prioritized fairness and representation. Maya approached Zara one afternoon, her expression hesitant but sincere. "I owe you an apology," Maya began, her voice trembling slightly. "What I did, it wasn't right. I let fear drive me, and I hurt you when you needed support most." Zara listened quietly, her gaze steady. Fear is powerful, she replied finally, but it doesn't excuse betrayal. What matters now is whether you're willing to do better, for yourself and for everyone here. Maya nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. I want to be part of the solution, not the problem. Her public apology later that week served as a stark reminder. Systemic oppression impacted even those complicit in it, and accountability was key to moving forward. Just as Zara began to feel a sense of victory, a whistleblower revealed shocking news. Eli's resignation came with a lucrative buyout deal. The revelation stung, shattering any illusions of altruism. Zara sat alone in her office, staring at the report, disappointment heavy in her chest. But then she remembered Liam's words. True change isn't about one person. It was about collective effort. Determined not to let Eli's actions overshadow their progress, Zara expanded her platform beyond the company walls. She partnered with activists and organizations nationwide, using her story to advocate for broader industry reforms. Speaking at conferences and collaborating with advocacy groups, she inspired others to fight injustice wherever they found it. Her message resonated deeply. Resilience could turn pain into power, and unity could dismantle even the strongest systems of oppression. The gala event arrived, a moment Zara had dreamed of since the beginning. This time, there were no interruptions, no undermining comments, no doubts creeping in. As she stood on stage overseeing every detail, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The evening unfolded flawlessly, a testament to her hard-won success. When it came time for her speech, Zara took a deep breath and stepped up to the microphone. Tonight, we celebrate more than an event, she began, her voice strong yet warm. We celebrate resilience, the kind that refuses to be silenced, the kind that demands justice even when the odds seem insurmountable. We celebrate community, the diverse faces in this room who remind us that together, we are stronger than any lie, any barrier, any system designed to divide us. As she spoke, the camera panned across the audience. Men and women of different races, ages, and backgrounds, cheering her on. Their applause echoed through the grand hall, a symphony of hope and solidarity. The story closed with Zara's voiceover, soft but resolute. They tried to silence me, but my voice became louder than their lies. Justice isn't perfect, but it's ours to claim. In the final moments, the narrative reinforced its core message. While justice may be imperfect, resilience and unity can pave the way for lasting change. Hope rose from struggle, triumph emerged from adversity, and Zara's journey became a beacon for anyone daring to challenge the status quo. This story shows us how one person's courage can spark change, even when the odds feel impossible. If you felt moved by her journey, take a moment to reflect. How many voices like hers go unheard? Liking this video tells her story it matters. Sharing it helps spread hope and awareness to others who need to hear it. Leaving a comment lets us know what touched your heart or inspired you. And subscribing means you'll be part of more stories that remind us of our strength and resilience. Together, we can keep these conversations alive.